Hello and welcome to the National Circuit at Silverstone as we fast approach the climax of an extraordinary battle for the Kwik British Touring Car Championship. Now, with only 6 races to go, it all comes down to 2 names, but only one of them will be etched on this rather beautiful trophy. One belongs to 4-time champion Ash Sutton, who is vying for his record-breaking 5th title, and the other is the dominant force that has been Tom Ingram. Everything is in his hands after a strong season so far.
I've been in the championship now since 2014. I've only won it once. I want that to change. Too many times I've been the first loser. I'm getting sick of it now.
Tom Ingram's first win of 2025 comes at Thruxton.
Very, very pleased.
Tom Ingram wins at Alton Park, a 35th win of his career.
This car is unbelievable to drive.
Tom Ingram to take the championship lead, to take the race win.
It's kind of pressure on now to make sure no one drops the ball from here on in.
Race 2 at Lock Hill is won by Tom Ingram.
Come on! Brilliant.
A dominant drive, a dominant win. Battle is on for the race lead, battle is on for the championship. Tom Ingram wins race 3 at Donington. He's had a great day as far as the championship's concerned.
Really needed a good result this weekend to get ourselves really in the hunt. It feels like after that we're definitely there.
He's been so consistent this year, and the championship title currently looks like his to lose. Tom Ingram recorded his 5th win of the season at Donington Park, adding to his collection of 16 podiums. He is looking relentless in his pursuit of a 2nd BTCC title. Ingram's 2 podiums at Donington Park saw him extend his lead at the top of the championship to 32 points. But right off Ash Sutton at your peril. He will be a man possessed today looking to make up ground. Dan Camish mathematically has an outsider's chance. His win 3 weeks ago strengthened his grip on 3rd place over teammate Dan Rowbottom. The remaining top 8 are made of Jake Hill, Tom Chilton, Adam Morgan and Charles Rainford, all who have targets and points to prove in what remains of the season. Now, it could be tighter in the Manufacturers' Championship, where just 1 point separates Alliance Racing Ford and Accelerate Hyundai. Likewise, in the teams competition, where Team Virtue hold a slender lead over Napa Racing UK. It's a 3-way scrap in the independent drivers between Mikey Doble, Dan Lloyd and Chris Smiley, with Restart Racing looking well clear of their rivals in the teams competition. And will it be Daryl Deleon or Charles Rainford celebrating success in this year's Jack Sears Trophy? Just 14 points separate the two. So we begin the final 2 events of the season here in Northamptonshire at the world-famous Silverstone. Today we're on the short National Circuit, which is 1.64 miles in distance, with long straights and 6 iconic corners primed for opportunities to overtake. What will go down today in this thrilling championship battle? Let's find out.
It is round 25 of the Kwik British Touring Car Championship from Silverstone. It is blast off with a good getaway by Deleon. Not a great start by Josh Cook. Good launch also made by Aidan Moffat. And on the run down towards Copse Corner, Deleon leads and Jake Hill tries to go the long way around the outside of Gordon Shedden. That did not quite work, I don't believe. And it's indeed going rather wide, Gordon Shedden. Ash Sutton, I think, was up against the wall as he made his way down towards Copse. He's got away with it, but it is going to be Daryl Deleon from Gordon Shedden. And up into 3rd, Dan Lloyd as they arrive at Beckett. So Jake Hill shuffled back 1 spot in the pack. And Sutton's still involved in a big fight. But look at Shedden. He's all over the back of Deleon. This is going to be fascinating. Daryl Deleon, one of the young guns of the championship, against one of the more experienced drivers on the grid, one of the most successful on the grid in Gordon Shedden, who's up the inside. Look, coming out of the second part of Luffield, side by side with the BMW. Daryl Deleon on the outside line. Gordon Shedden on the inside line. Gordon Shedden, he's going to get his nose in front at the end of lap 1. And after his best qualifying of the season, Gordon Shedden led across the line. He'll get a point in the championship for that. But Deleon is right with him on the outside line. It's Dan Lloyd 3rd as they round Copse. Deleon way wide off the racetrack, but he maintains the momentum and he's still on the attack. Shedden leads. Lloyd's going to have the inside line for Beckett's. Last of the late breakers. They both lock up. Lloyd sideways. Deleon goes wide and Jake Hill nips up to 3rd. Deleon, though, is in danger of losing more places here.
Talk of vulnerable, here comes Lloydie down the inside of Shedden, and he's pulled it off. Fantastic first couple of laps from Dan Lloyd.
Brilliant stuff. Dan Lloyd in the independent Restart Racing Hyundai, not a factory, not a works car. He comes through the right hand of Laffield, and this is looking back from Dan Lloyd's car. So you've had briefly Daryl Deleon on the lead, you've had Gordon Shedden in the lead, now you've got Dan Lloyd in the lead as they come diving down towards Copse Corner to start lap 3 of 22. Restart Racing has been successful in the independents this year, but could an outright race win head the team's way. This is on board with Sutton, and Ash Sutton already up into 9th place. Ingram's up into 11th, but Sutton needs to be ahead of Ingram to take points off him, of course. Dan Lloyd now leads by 0.6 of a second as that's Jake Hill going through. He moves himself up past Gordon Shedden. So now Hill sets off in pursuit of Dan Lloyd. Don't forget Dan led at Snetterton and lost out late race to Dan Rowbottom. He's leading here. Could he be denied by Jake Hill? A 12th different winner of the season beckons then, and it is going to be Dan Lloyd. The man from Huddersfield leads the pack through Woodcote Corner, and a 4th career victory, his first of the year. The checkered flag awaits. Dan Lloyd wins our first race of the day in the Kwik Fit British Touring Car Championship, and a delighted team, a delighted driver as well. Dan Lloyd has done it. Jake Hill second, Gordon Shedden third. They were all denied the chance to challenge as we finished under the safety car, but you can see how much that means to one of the hardest triers on the grid. And this is round 26, and it is go with a good start made by Hill, as you would anticipate in the BMW. He launches up the inside of Dan Lloyd, who can't close the door as they get towards Copse, and Jake Hill's going to lead into the first corner, side by side with the Hyundai on the outside. Dan Lloyd gets run out wide, so does Shedden. Even wider than anybody else there goes Aidan Moffat's BMW, and Jake Hill and Dan Lloyd are still side by side, but the road's going to come to Jake on the inside up towards Beckett's. He will lead. Lloyd second, Shedden third.
Lloyd trying desperately to attack Hill at the start, but Hill was bound to get to the first corner first.
And Ingram's already up into 4th place. He's made an absolute rocket ship start, look, and Senna Proctor is going to let him go in a straight line. So there is Ingram. I apologise, he's third because he's cleared Shedden as well. Dan Lloyd ahead, Jake Hill leading the race, and Ingram works out where he can make that move. In 4th at the end of the lap was Gordon Shedden. It was Senna Proctor 5th and Ash Sutton in 6th place. So it's Sutton the best place of the Napa Racing Fords. Ingram is the best of those for Team Virtue, and he's now taken 2nd place away from the Restart Hyundai. Shedden closing up as well to attack, but Ingram having started from 7th on the grid up into 2nd place, and he's not done yet. And again, he tries that line coming through Beckett's, tighter on the exit. Jake Hill hangs on to it for now. We understand from Louise that it could be a turbo pipe for Dan Camish, but in the lead, there are no dramas for Ingram, who just uses the boost to breeze on by Jake Hill. And you can see the effect of the boost there. It didn't look as though he was going to be able to do it, but the extra power of the boost kicks in, and there's nothing Jake Hill can do in a straight line to repel what is a very quick car anyway. Now, Tom Ingram is going to be given a black and white driving standards flag for track limits, but more importantly, the 2nd place has changed. Sutton's got ahead of Hill now. It is going to be win number 6 of the season for Tom Ingram, who dominates race 2 at Silverstone. Ash Sutton comes across the line in 2nd place. 3rd goes to Jake Hill, just ahead of Aaron Taylor-Smith, a 10th apart, those two. Charles Rainford 5th, Dan Lloyd is 6th, then it's Gordon Shedden, Aidan Moffat, Josh Cook and Daryl Deleon to round out the top 10. It is now round 27 of the Kwik Fit British Touring Car Championship from Silverstone, and it is go, and it's a good getaway from the BMW of Aidan Moffat that lines up 5th on the grid, and Charles Rainford is away rapidly up against the pit wall as Sam Osborne leads by about 3 lengths into Copse ahead of Mikey Doble. Look at the gap he's got as the field files through. 1 or 2 with their elbows out in the background, and there's a Napa Ford that has come to grief and goes wide. Was that Rowbottom? Was that Camish? Certainly one badly delayed as the cars head up towards Beckett's for the first time. Drama at Copse then.
As Sutton is on the move, he's up 5 places to 6th position.
So Ash Sutton making progress forward. Josh Cook on a bit of a mission, up to 2nd now, clearing Mikey Doble. So could there be a Speedworks Toyota win on the cards here? The way that Cookie is charging along, he goes over the timing line now, 1.4 seconds back from Sam Osborne, who, remember, has not ever had a touring car race win. It's a big ask with 20 laps to go to hang on in there.
But this man is going to win his first ever BTCC race. Everybody in the paddock will be delighted for him. He's a lovely young man, he is, and he's driven under the greatest of pressure.
Sam Osborne comes out of Luffield. He's never been on the podium. He's going to be on the top step because it's his first ever British Touring Car Championship win. Sam Osborne makes history. A first ever win in the championship for him. Sam Osborne wins race 3 at Silverstone, and he does so by 1.6 seconds from Josh Kwik. Sutton takes third. Fourth goes to Jake Hill. Tom Ingram is going to be through for fifth ahead of Aidan Moffat. And then seventh is Adam Morgan ahead of Chilton. Camish will get ninth and Doble 10th with penalties being applied. Ash Sutton outscores Tom Ingram only by a couple of places, but every little helps. But Sam Osborne wins the race, and what a drive. He is over the moon in a Sam Osborne sort of way, because he's not the most demonstrative of characters, but he did not put a wheel out of line. That's just brilliant.
Well, there we have it. Just 2 weeks to go. Put the date in the diary. Do not miss it, because we can promise you there is going to be absolutely plenty of action, and we will find out who puts their hands and lifts the almighty British Touring Car Trophy. We can't wait. See you then.